As you can tell, the background has changed. I am now in my apartment. I'm gonna do a video on how I got my apartment sometime. Okay, so we'll leave that video for another time. But the excitement phase is still here. This is currently 1 week since I moved to Australia. So
I wanna flex my love. I wanna impress.
So what are my first impressions about this gorgeous country? So I recently moved from the UK to Australia. I am a Nigerian by nationality, in case you're wondering. So here are my observations, or rather my first impressions. First impressions might not always be correct. It might just be a one-off, but these are the things Australia has shown me during my first 1 week here in Sydney. Okay, so first thing I noticed immediately I got off the plane in people I bit laid back. When I came out of the plane, the first thing I noticed is the people are a bit chilled and laid back. Okay, so I'm not gonna say everyone because most of the people I came down with are not actually Australians, but I'm trying to say immigration officials. Okay, the person that checked me in is actually an Australian by the way he speaks. Okay, when I was checking in, I didn't have my yellow fever card on hand, but I have had the vaccines. Okay, so when he asked me where you're coming from, Nigeria, where is your yellow fever card, and I was like, it's inside my bag, I don't have it at hand. And he was like, okay. And I told him that it's one of the requirements to get a job because I had all my vaccines since I'm a registered nurse. And then he said, okay, he needs to see it. But when I was trying to check for it, I was struggling. And then I realized that I kept it with my documents, and my documents are inside my hand luggage. So it wasn't in my like backpack. So he was just like, okay, as long as you have it and you've had the vaccine, that's fine. So yeah, they're a bit chill. They're not like so fussy. I mean, first impression, right? Let's see how 6 months down the line what I'm gonna say. Second thing that I noticed about Australia is that immediately I got off the whole airport and I came out, there is Wi-Fi outside the Sydney airport. There's still Wi-Fi outside, like I'm outside the car park and the airport Wi-Fi is still here. Must be nice. So usually what I've noticed is if you are coming out of the airport Wi-Fi goes off. Most places I've been to, I'm not sure, I'm not 100% sure, I've not been to everywhere in the world, but majority of places I've been to, immediately you come down from the airport, out of the airport, your signal just goes off. Okay, however, it wasn't the same with Sydney airport. I came out, even when I got to the car park where my Uber was, there was still Wi-Fi. Okay, so I was very impressed, very impressed. Okay, so let's go back to the third thing I noticed immediately I got to Australia, still within the same day. Okay, that it was really hot. See, I know they always say, hey, it's hot, it's hot, it's hot, but listen, it's a different feeling when that warm air slaps on your face and then you're like, yes, girl, bring it on. So yeah, that was what I felt.
It's so hot.
The sunshine was just on my face and I was like, ooh, welcome home. But culture shock, I'm gonna do a separate video on the culture shock. The next day it was a bit cold. I was like, oh my god, this is not the Sydney you people promised to me. But anyway, it wasn't as bad because we're currently in spring. So yeah, that was what I noticed. Another thing I have actually noticed about Australia is that the customer service is a bit laid back as well. I know I've talked about laid back, but let me tell you more about what I noticed. When I got to my Airbnb, normally a usual rule of thumb is that someone will be there to check you in, right? That's what I've always noticed. Like, I've never ever gone to a property or an Airbnb and then the owner is not there to check me on, or the property manager is not there. However, when I got to my Airbnb, there was no one to check me in. All I had to do was do a self check-in. I just had to get the key from the lock. So the lady that is in charge of the Airbnb, she's so kind, she's so sweet. She gave me the password and everything to unlock the key pod and also to get into the apartment. So I did almost everything myself and I checked myself in. And another thing with the Airbnb, they allowed me early check-in without collecting a dime from me, which I find very nice because usually if you're asking for an early check-in, they usually charge you more. But my Airbnb host was very kind. She didn't check She didn't ask me for more money or anything. She only said, oh yes, it's gonna be free because time. So I actually checked in around 10 a.m. whilst I was supposed to check in around 3. So that was so kind of her, and I really appreciate her. And I don't know if it's an Australian thing, but well, it happened to me in Australia, so I'm gonna put it as my first impressions. Well, when I was moving into my permanent accommodation, so I'm currently in my permanent accommodation, I've left my Airbnb. I was going to check in around 10 a.m. again in the morning because my Airbnb was going to expire 10 a.m. I was going to check in 10 a.m. in my new place. However, my landlord was not going to be around by 10 a.m. He was going to be at work because he's not an agent. Okay, this is not his main job. He's just a landlord that was going to check me in. So what he did was, he was so kind. He called me to say, oh, when are you going to check in? I said 10 a.m. He said, oh, he's going to be at work, blah, 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 blah. And then you know what he did? He actually asked me for my Airbnb address and he drove down to my Airbnb a night before my move-in time to give me the keys. Guys, it is unheard of. I've never ever heard that kind of thing before. Usually they will check you in. So it happening in my Airbnb and it happening in my permanent apartment, it just says a lot about Australians. They are very, very calm and laid back. I mean, it was so shocking to me. I can't even explain. I'm really, really impressed. So he gave me the keys a night before my check-in time and he was like, okay, you can go in whenever you want. So yeah, I was trying to do all my calling to fix my electricity, to fix my Wi-Fi, my internet, and my gas and all that. The customer service is amazing, guys. I mean, when I called to fix, immediately I said, hi, my name is Deo. Do you know what the customer service... Bless him. Do you know what he said? He said, oh, Deo, do you know that song? Deo, we said Deo, daylight come now, I want to go home. And I was like, what? So the first thing that came to my mind was, are you British? Because, oh, British. Because when I was in the UK, most of my patients always sing that song to me. Everyone I come across, whenever they say, oh, your name is Deo, that's the first thing they actually sing. But hearing it from someone that knows his call is being recorded, I was so impressed. Usually whenever I call anyone in the UK, like customer service, and they are recording the call, everyone is a bit professional. No one sings, no one does anything out of the business, okay? They are very strict. They talk to you directly in a professional manner. But coming here to Australia, and when your call is being recorded and you are singing to your customer, I was like, what is happening? I mean, it made me feel so much at home. I won't even lie. I felt so much at home because for him to sing that song while he knows the call is being recorded, I was like, are you okay? Do you want to lose your job? But then I just realized that isn't that deep. Okay, as long as the customer doesn't find it offensive. But yeah, I enjoyed it and I sang along with him anyway because I'm that goofy. I sang along with him and yeah, it was nice. It was a lovely experience. So what else have I noticed? Another thing I've noticed is Sydney is clean, okay? The air, there's just something about the fresh air I breathe immediately. The English. There's something about the air I breathe. Immediately I go out of the airport. The air is just fresh, it was just so, and it's still fresh, even now, the air is just fresh, as well as the area, the city is clean, you could barely find litter around the area, okay, which I found nice. I mean, there are a bits and bits around in the suburb areas, but the city, it's clean, okay. And yeah, these are the things I have noticed straight out of the UK to Australia. I've noticed, okay, so hopefully it remains like this or even more positive things come. I mean, I just feel so lucky and I feel so much at home. I always tell people I feel at home, this is home for me now. So yeah, these are my first impressions. Let me know if you are in Australia and if these things are true. And if you're an Australian, thank you so much for making this place home for us, people like us that are coming in. It means so much to us, and yeah, I'm just so happy to be here. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Probably it's gonna be culture shocks that I have experienced here in Australia. I'm still settling in. Everything is going well as planned and I don't have any complaints yet. So yeah, hopefully you subscribe to my channel. Guys, please get me to 15K subscribers. I don't know when I'm going to post this video, but currently I'm on 14,000. So please try and get me to 15K. Okay, I'm going to see you guys later. I love you all and bye.